Hey, help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button to subscribe if you want more Cavs-focused content.
Embarrassing. That's the only way to put this for the Cavs to lose this game to the Toronto Raptors in the way that they lost this game to the Toronto Raptors. Because what happened at the end of the second quarter is exactly what happened at the end of the third quarter and ended up happening at the end of the fourth quarter. See, all three of those quarters, the Cavs were on the verge of pushing this lead to 10. And in a game like this, where scoring was going at a glacial pace, 10-point lead seems like a 20-point lead, right? So the Cavs were on the verge of pushing this out the way, but they kept letting Toronto out-hustle them at the end of these quarters. It happened at the end of the second, where I think Brandon Ingram makes a big three to get the lead at the end of the half. Happened at the end of the third, where Toronto goes on a run. And then at the end of the fourth, they allowed themselves to be out-hustled by the Raptors. Now, the reason this is embarrassing for the Cavaliers isn't just because that happened. Sometimes that does happen. It's because this has happened to you, the Cleveland Cavaliers, far too often. Now, this group, very different than last year's group, but they still wear the same uniform. Donovan Mitchell still the face of this team. This can't keep happening. Real back against the wall moment now, right? Series is 2-2. You could take this home, take control in game 3. Maybe you get a good shooting split in not game 3. You could take this home in game 5, win that game in game 5, and then have a real nice shooting night in game 6 and then take this home. But who are you going to be is the bigger question if you're the Cavs. Are you going to still be the team that allowed the Pacers to win like this, right? This felt like a Pacers game, or at least a Pacers game from last year where the Cavs would get to a point where you're like, okay, I think we're good. I think we're going to walk out this series and be fine. And then we kept letting the Pacers out-hustle us. Like, is this going to continue to happen? There's really no way to put it. We could talk about the Cavs didn't shoot well from 3, but nobody shot well from 3 in this game. Hell, the Raptors shot 13% from 3. It's not an excuse that you didn't shoot well from 3. You shot better from 3 than the Raptors. You made 6 more threes than the Raptors. You were better from the floor than the Raptors. The only place you didn't outdo the Raptors is at the free throw line, which is continuing to be a problem that keeps biting this team in the ass. But to be fair, it was like Jalen Tyson missed 3 free throws, and then Jared Allen missed 3. But Jared Allen missing free throws, that's not unusual. The Jalen Tyson missing 3 free throws, that's also not unusual. So they outdid you on free throw shooting, but they got more foul shots up. They got 36 foul shots to 23 because they just kept attacking the paint. I couldn't understand for the life of me. When the Cavs, we're going like 1 of 10 from 3 over the last 10 minutes. We can't just decide to put our head down and go for it, at least like Jalen Tyson was doing that at times. It's an embarrassing loss for the Cavs. And it's not embarrassing in a vacuum. I know somebody is going to get mad at me for saying that, but it's not an embarrassing loss in a vacuum if we just look at this series. It's an embarrassing loss in the scope of where the Cavs are and what the Cavs' issues have been and what the allegations have been on them. And they got out-hustled. They got out-physical. They got outplayed at the end of these quarters. And a veteran team like the Cavs can't let the Raptors do that, especially when they don't have Emmanuel Quigley. I thought coming into this game that this was going to be close no matter what, right? Game 4 was going to be close no matter what. I'm not saying the Cavs should have blown them out. We knew this game was going to be close. The Cavs knew this game was going to be close. The Raptors knew this game was going to be close. But the Raptors are the only ones who played and brought the right energy for that kind of game. The Cavs did not bring the right energy. The Cavs came in here like, okay, once we get up by 8, we're going to be fine. And then they took the foot off the pedal, and they got beat down. Evan Mobley, 8 and 9. What the fuck is that? What is 8 and 9 for Evan Mobley? I know people are going to shit on Jared Allen. He went, 1 of 5 from the floor, 3 points. At least he got 15 rebounds. 8 of 9 for Evan Mobley. Couple big offensive rebounds late in the game. Late in the game, I really thought it was just Donovan Mitchell had a weird fourth quarter. Late in the game, Donovan was really good early in that fourth, got 10 points quick. It then disappeared. James Harden, same thing. There's one key possession here where I think Evan Mobley gets 2 offensive rebounds in one possession. We get 2 open threes. We can't hit one of them. Sam Merrill, shout out to Sam Merrill. He made some threes today. He made some big shots down the stretch. Sam Merrill finally arrived in this series. But the Cavs bench has not arrived in this series. 1 point from Max Strus today. 0 for Max Strus. 7 rebounds. Keon Ellis, 4 minutes. Nothing from Keon Ellis. At least Jalen Tyson brought the right mentality at least. 9 points, 5 rebounds. 0 of 1 from 3, but 3 of 6 from the floor. Sam Merrill was legitimately good today. Dennis Schroeder was okay. He was just okay. This bench, for a team that runs 10 deep, we're sure getting outplayed on the bench by some nobodies. Not some nobodies. They're clearly not nobodies because the way they're playing against us. But we're getting outplayed on the bench, out-hustled on the bench minutes by the Toronto Raptors. The Donovan Mitchell minutes for most of this game were terrible. The Donovan Mitchell only minutes for most of this game were terrible. James Harden, late in this game, he made a big three. He made a big three to kind of get the Cavs back in it. But I don't know what happened between the two of those guys in the final minute of this game. We've seen James, since he's been traded here, have some big moments in those times. We've seen Donovan be great in those times. Where was that at the end of this game? How does R.J. Barrett and Scotty Barnes outplay you in the final minutes of every quarter? What's going on there? Evan Mobley, awful game for him. There's really no redeeming it. Almost fouled out. Just bad game. At least Jared Allen was solid defensively and rebounded. Dean Wade was good. Dean Wade had a good game. He made some shots. Dean Wade ain't got nothing to explain to me. James does. Evan does. Donovan does. The last game the Cavs won in this series was game 2. All 3 of those guys got 20 plus in that game. Since that game, it's been a struggle to get any of these guys over 20. This ain't what it is. This ain't what it's supposed to be for the Cavaliers. The good news is that it's just a 2-2 series now. You win 2 more games, you get to game 6. Well, you win 2 more games, you get out in 6 games, we move on to the next round. The bad news is that this should probably be a 3-1 series lead, right? You get the Raptors 1 at home. They've certainly played hard enough to earn 1 at home. They weren't going to get swept, but we should be up 3-1 right now. They should have won this game. No ands about it. The only reason they didn't win this game is because they just kept leaving the door open for Toronto to come back in and out-hustle them. This should give them flashbacks of what happened against the Pacers. If you're a Cavs fan, I know this gives you flashbacks about what happened against the Pacers because this is exactly what happened against the Pacers without the outlier 3-point performance, right? At least the Pacers were making threes. They were shooting 48% from 3 in that series. You let the Raptors do this to you with 13% from 3. It was just all hustle. All hustle. That shouldn't be enough. You should be able to match hustle. We shouldn't still have problems getting the ball up the court in these kind of situations. It's just embarrassing. Cavs got to look at themselves in the mirror and ask themselves, who the fuck are they after this one? There's no way around it. Cavs have to look themselves in the mirror and ask themselves who they are. Because if this is what they are, they won't go far. If they got a different response, if this is the last time this happens to them, then maybe they got a chance. But you let Toronto do this to you 2 times. Even if you get out this series, I'm not going to be optimistic about the rest of the playoffs. Can't let this happen. Can't keep getting out hustled. Like what? You even get out rebounded, right? Like what? 56 to 59, you got out rebounded like +3 offensive rebounds, 16 to 21. Like it's not like they had like some kind of insane rebounding advantage against you. They just outran you. Can't happen. Not when you have this much on the line, and especially for Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. Can't happen. They got too much on the line. Donovan Mitchell, like your legacy is on the line. It's on the line the entire playoffs. If you don't get out the second round now, it will just become who you are. James Harden, if you can't get a good run here to an NBA Finals, they're going to keep calling you a loser. It's on the line for all of y'all. They got more on the line than the Raptors do. Brandon Ingram legacy ain't on the line in this. Scotty Barnes legacy ain't on the line in this one. They ain't got nothing to prove. If they win this series, it's a great upset. If they lose, it's what people thought would happen. They got nothing to lose. And maybe that's the problem. We not playing like we got nothing to lose. But something's wrong. Something's wrong. Don't know why the three-point shooting goes to shit in the playoffs, but here we are again. Here we are again. Maybe the Sunday 1 o'clock thing is a real thing because both teams sucked from shooting the ball today. But got to figure it out. This should be a wake-up call for everybody that wears wine and gold, that's paid by Dan Gilbert, because this is exactly what happened last year.